Hello, I'm Dave Marks, the Spy Guy, and I haven't done a video in a little bit, and I thought I should get around to doing one. It's kind of been a very weird week, and for those watching this for years now, this was the episode which I did shortly after the 2020 U.S. election, and there's a lot of crazy things still happening right now, where people are like declaring this guy Biden's win, and then Trump suing everyone, and who knows what will happen in a week. I'm sorry, America. Seriously, in Ontario, in our last provincial election, 15 million people, a province of 15 million people, we got our election done in 45 minutes. It's not this hard. You should not be taking weeks to figure out an election. That's all I'm going to say about that. Today I'm going to talk about a book I bought and read. It's called Hitler in Los Angeles. And it's about how in 1930s there was all these the Anti-Defamation League, which is still around today, though it's kind of gone off the rails a bit. It's just, but for my part, it's still pretty good in a lot of areas of fighting against racism in the world. They got a blind spot when it comes to Israel, from what I can tell, and their current leadership's a little too more woke than normal, but they generally still talk about things like they give you the true facts on what's going on with racism. They're not like the ACLU, which turned out to be a scam to get guilty boomers to fork over money so a bunch of schmucks can go around chasing the interns and flying around telling everyone, making everyone feel bad. Like, seriously, the ACL, what is it? I'm sorry, not the ACLU. My apologies. I'm at the Southern Poverty Law Center. So it's just, we've now learned through some great press reporting in places like the New Yorker that it's been basically a scam for years to get guilty, basically pay your penance, guilty white guys, and we'll go after the racists. And then you find out like the racists they're talking about are like 3 guys in a basement, or like an anti-abortion lobby. Like, come on. Anyways, so this is the chilling little known story, the rise of Nazism in Los Angeles in the 30s and the Jewish spy network that stopped it. So, and it's really interesting to find out because it's just like one guy who was an army officer in the First World War, who starts recruiting people who he's looking at what Hitler's just been elected in Germany in 1933, and things start coming out about what's really going on there, and how the various group a small Jewish organization starts like hiring like regular people to go to the German, like the Germans had like fellowship associations and and other organizations. There's plenty of groups in the United States that were like looking at what Hitler was doing over there and deciding to bring it home. But you find out so many of these groups are kind of like the Southern Poverty Law Center. They go out and they like say all these evil racist things, hoping that you'll give them money so they can spend it on beer a lot. These guys. But it's also kind of scary. Like they would have like, there was like a German fellowship association in there, and the Jewish guy, he recruits like regular like guys who look like they could be potential Nazis, or sorry, Yazis. I'm never going to monetize this video, but like to infiltrate these organizations and to find out what's going on. And a lot of them, the leadership is a lot of insecure guys who are like trying to take things on, but the who end up running these organizations, they end up like, they try to do a little bit of like stuff, and some of them are pretty dangerous. They like make they start drilling people. They start making plans. They start doing weekend warriors stuff with guns and trying to create like a group of stormtroopers to go out and like take the fight. There's a plot to kill like all the Jewish actors in Hollywood as a preamble to Crystal Night that gets foiled pretty early on. But you also find out like a lot of the internal government guys are all like they're happy to take bribes from the German sympathizers. They're happy to take bribes. They're all a lot of the guy. There's like the infamous Red Squad is basically are more concerned about communism. And they think these guys are on their side and they're working with them. But some of the agents they bring in, he's able to recruit. One's like a Klansman who they are able to bring in and then send him in to infiltrate these groups and learn all about them. But as things get worse in Germany and they actually go to war, the FBI starts coming in, and the FBI basically they just get all their intelligence and all their file work is handed over to by the small group from the Anti-Defamation League. And I don't want to get too much into all the details, but like it is amazing how on the one hand violent and conspiratorial these people are, but how much the bad guys were also just blundering, drunken idiots who would speak off to nothing. But the other thing that's interesting to really get into is because these guys are fighting this Jewish group. He's doing it on his own money. He's trying to raise some stuff from the Jewish community who doesn't actually pony up until one day he sits down and meets with a bunch of the heads of like MGM and Louis and that all these Jewish heads of movie studios, because they're pissed off at the German consulate officer, and because he's like preventing them from doing any movies. And if you make a movie that's anti the Hitler and anti the German government, you're not going to. They said you will be not allowed to broadcast any of your movies in Germany. And it was at that time the second biggest market for movies in the world. And much right now when we have all this censorship coming out of China, or these movie studios have sold out and are making movies like Transformers 4, making China look good, and trying to make movies like Mulan that are for that market, and then censoring and eliminating the roles of Black and Asian or Black actors in order to please that audience. Here we have these studios in the 30s having to do the same thing for Germany. And really, when Germany goes to war, they finally are able to start with France and Britain. They're finally able to come out and talk about all this other stuff and make movies. But even then, like they made a movie that was basically based on a true story about called like Confessions of a Yahtzee Spy. I'll steal that word from Clownfish, so I will get some views. But so the Confessions of a Yahtzee Spy, and how many of the studios, or sorry, how many actors who were German didn't want to be in the movie because their family back home was being threatened by the Yahtzee government if they got out of line. And so it's like, on one hand, you'll be bemused by the results of what these guys are doing, but you'll be also horrified to see what could happen what is actually having parallels today with what's going on in China. So I really recommend this book. I don't know, I'll give it an 82 out of 100. How's that? So like, this is a book I'm looking into getting. I don't know if I'll ever get monetized, but my intention is in the future to get affiliate marketing with Barnes and Noble, and then put a link in the bottom of videos like this one. So if you can go and buy it, you can give me like a couple bucks. I'm still looking into that because there's some tax implications. I have to get a tax code in Canada, and it's like, do I really need a tax code? Because then I have to apply local service taxes. So I'm going to reach out to this guy and say, really, do you need this for this purposes? Or do you have something like, I'm never going to be a big corporation. I'm just going to do book reviews, and movie reviews. So I'm really going to, like, this is what I'm doing. I'm hoping you'll like, share, subscribe. Oh, and by the way, hi, Steph. I should have said that at the beginning of the video. She's a friend of mine from England who's signed on here. So, like I said, this has been the Spy Guide. This has been a Genuine Spy book report. Thanks for watching. Bye.